The story kicks off with Emily Cale, a young girl waking up to a news alert about the president's upcoming peace treaty negotiations in the Middle East. Her excitement only grows as she catches sight of helicopters flying past her window. President James Sawyer is returning to the White House, accompanied by Special Agent Carol Finnerty. In his usual style, the president requests the pilot to do the thing, altering their route to fly over the reflecting pool by the Lincoln Memorial. As they soar above, Sawyer casually mentions a favorite fact of his: President Lincoln's support for women's voting rights. Meanwhile, John Cale, a Capitol Police officer, watches President Sawyer's speech on poverty as a significant national issue. After listening, he heads back to work, where he serves as a security detail for Speaker of the House, Eli Raffleson, and drives him toward the White House. Also tuning in is Martin Walker, the head of the Presidential Secret Service. Walker, still mourning the loss of his son Kevin, who died in a failed Black Ops mission in Iran, places an American flag pin next to a photo of Kevin, loads his gun, and heads off to work after saying goodbye to his wife Muriel. As Cale walks with Raffleson, he encounters a young woman named Jenna and seizes the chance to ask her for an interview with Finnerty, hoping to secure a position in the Secret Service. Jenna agrees and also arranges White House tour passes for Cale's daughter Emily, an avid follower of politics and a fan of the president. Simultaneously, a man with red hair, Conrad Cern, sneaks unnoticed into a White House room under the guise of a maintenance worker. Later, Cale picks up Emily from her mother's house. Melanie, Emily's mom, hints at Emily's lingering disappointment with her father for missing her talent show last week. Yet when Cale hands over White House tour passes, Emily's frustration melts and she lights up with excitement. Elsewhere, President Sawyer spots a reporter, Roger Skinner, outside criticizing his policies. Finnerty interrupts to inform Sawyer of a call from his wife, Allison. Despite the challenges, Allison remains a steadfast supporter, reminding him to keep closed the pocket watch she gave him as a lucky charm, a memento he confirms rests in his front pocket close to his heart. Back in disguise as a janitor, Conrad Cern prepares a large bomb hidden in a box, loading it into a truck for his ominous plan. Meanwhile, Emily and her father arrive at the White House, pass through security, and meet with Finnerty, who immediately recognizes Cale from their college days. Cale sits down for an interview with Special Agent Carol Finnerty and Agent Ryan Todd. During the questioning, it comes to light that Cale served in Afghanistan and once saved Speaker Raffleson's nephew, an act of bravery. However, his records reveal less impressive details: a low credit score, an average GPA, and a tendency to resist authority. Despite his skills and attempts to convince Finnerty, she decides he isn't a fit and denies him the job. Afterward, when Emily eagerly asks if he got it, Cale lies to protect her admiration, allowing her to keep believing he'll be working for the president. Elsewhere in the White House, Walker, the head of the president's detail, is attending a meeting with his team. It's his last day on the job, and his colleagues surprise him with a cake topped with sparklers, a gesture that touches him deeply. Meanwhile, Cale and Emily join a White House tour led by Donnie Donaldson. During the tour, Cale notices a group of men posing as home theater repairmen who seem a little too out of place. Donnie, the guide, is surprised by Emily's depth of White House knowledge. She even talks about the location of the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, information she picked up online. Just then, the tour is unexpectedly interrupted by President Sawyer himself, who warmly greets the visitors. Emily, starstruck, asks him a question for her YouTube channel and proudly introduces her dad, letting slip her belief that he'll be working for the president. Sawyer realizes Cale has lied to her about his job, but he plays along. After Sawyer leaves, Emily steps away to use the bathroom while Cale and Donnie chat about the 1800s war that led to the White House burning down. At the same time, Conrad Cern enters the Capitol building carrying a mop and bucket, leaving them in the center of the room. Just as the timer on his watch hits 0, a bomb detonates in the Capitol, sending shockwaves throughout D.C. Finnerty, who is driving nearby, sees the explosion. As chaos erupts, White House personnel quickly evacuate, but the tour group is ordered to stay put. The repairmen reveal themselves as mercenaries, attaching silencers to their weapons and advancing through the White House, eliminating agents in their path. Their leader, Emil Stenz, targets the armory, grabbing heavier firepower before moving forward. Emily, hiding from them, watches the terrifying scene unfold. With the White House engulfed in flames and chaos, Walker, now outside, orders a secure perimeter while the mercenaries swiftly take control of the roof, eliminating all guards with deadly precision. Cale, back inside, is frantic with worry for his daughter, but, trapped by the lockdown, finds himself unable to leave the room, helpless as the situation spirals into terror. Amid the escalating chaos, Emily witnesses the brutal massacre of White House security forces but manages to evade capture. She bravely films as two mercenaries open the gates, allowing several vans loaded with reinforcements to flood the scene. Things intensify as the mercenaries, led by Tyler and Killick, shed their disguises, gearing up for their hostile takeover. Killick efficiently eliminates most agents and takes the tour guests hostage. Meanwhile, Cale, desperate to escape, grabs a gun and narrowly avoids capture despite taking heavy fire. Overhead, helicopters en route to support are forced to retreat under intense artillery assault from the mercenaries. Walker, seemingly still loyal, tells President Sawyer they must reach the safe room or face certain death. Cale, realizing Emily is missing, is ambushed in the bathroom but manages to outwit and kill his assailant, seizing his radio. As Cale listens in, he notices the president and his detail moving toward the safe room. The vice president, meanwhile, has been whisked away on a plane to ensure continuity of leadership, as Walker leads Sawyer and his team to the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, PEOC. Suddenly, Walker reveals his true colors, turning on Sawyer and killing his entire security detail. Cale, monitoring the situation over the radio, overhears Walker coordinating with Stenz. Acting quickly, he locates them and opens fire, providing cover for Sawyer to escape. During the ensuing chaos, Cale manages to knock out Stenz and kills a mercenary named Bobby, helping the president as they flee through the White House corridors. With nowhere left to go, they duck into an elevator, barely escaping as the mercenaries attempt to intercept them by heading to the lower level. Stenz and Walker enter the same elevator shaft, unaware that Cale and the president are directly above them. Walker and Stenz argue as they proceed to the Blue Room, where they force the remaining secretaries to join the growing group of hostages. Outside, Finnerty rushes Raffleson to a command center where they meet General Caulfield, who then contacts Hammond on Air Force One to inform him of the escalating situation. In the elevator shaft, Cale suggests that the president call in SEAL Team 6, and Sawyer mentions a satellite phone located in the residence. But they'll need to head several levels up to reach it. The news, along with the military, begins to set up a perimeter around the White House. Inside, Tyler the hacker reaches the PEOC, lollipop in mouth, and gets to work connecting his tools to the government systems to begin a complex hacking operation. The mercenaries move the hostages into another room, soon joined by the remaining secretaries. Emily, still undeterred, captures more footage and uploads it to her YouTube channel, a daring act that catches the attention of the outside world. When her mother texts her, the notification alerts Killick to Emily's location, forcing her to hide quickly in a closet as he searches for her. Killick discovers Emily hiding and, after threatening to shoot, forces her to surrender just as her video upload completes. He drags her to join the other hostages, unaware that her video is already gaining traction online. Meanwhile, Cale and President Sawyer hide in the elevator shaft, watching as a mercenary arrives with javelin missiles. Nearly caught, they avoid detection as another mercenary dismisses his colleague's suspicions. In the midst of the turmoil, the vice president speaks with General Caulfield and Finnerty, who clarify that the Constitution restricts U.S. troops from intervening directly. Walker, now revealed as the mastermind behind the attack, demands a $400 million ransom from the Federal Reserve. Claiming he has President Sawyer under control, he threatens to execute him on the South Lawn unless his demands are met within 2 hours. Cale and Sawyer, still on the move, reach the residence where they find the satellite phone and make contact with the crisis team. Cale briefs them on the situation, and Finnerty directs them to escape through the hidden tunnels beneath the White House. Just then, Cale spots mercenaries nearby, and with limited ammo takes down one. A brutal confrontation with another mercenary ensues, escalating into a kitchen brawl where Sawyer, forced into action, takes up an automatic weapon to help. Afterward, Cale informs Finnerty of their survival, who tells him to turn on the news. Cale is struck with both pride and horror as he sees Emily's viral footage exposing the terrorists to the public, while Melanie, Emily's mother, rushes to the White House in desperation to save her. When Stenz sees the footage, he storms over to Emily, angrily confiscating her phone, slapping her, and warning she won't survive the day. The video, however, proves invaluable to the Pentagon, allowing them to identify the attackers. Killick is a sociopathic mercenary. Tyler is a disgraced former NSA hacker, and Stenz is an ex-paramilitary operative whose mission was shut down under Sawyer's administration, leading to his imprisonment overseas for 2 years. Cale and Sawyer managed to navigate to the underground tunnels, but hidden cameras reveal their location to Stenz and his team. Suddenly, explosives rigged at the tunnel gate detonate, forcing Cale and Sawyer into a desperate retreat under a hail of gunfire. They narrowly escape and make it to the presidential limo. Stenz, opting to pursue, fires at them before jumping into a vehicle to give chase. As Cale races toward the west gate, Sawyer warns him that the gate's metal reinforcement is too strong to break through, setting the stage for an intense showdown as they try to find a way to escape. With no options left, Cale steers the limo away from the gate, maneuvering around the lawn and fountain in a desperate attempt to outrun the mercenaries. Under heavy fire, he uses some skillful maneuvers to take down one of the pursuing vehicles. Just then, a U.S. tank arrives, but it's swiftly taken out by an RPG. As the RPG's sights turn on them, Sawyer spots an RPG launcher inside the limo. In a bold move, he leans out the window, fires at the gate, and blasts it open, all of which is caught on camera by the media, who watch in awe. Killick seizes the moment, dragging Emily out of a window and threatening her life, which momentarily distracts Cale. In that brief lapse, a rocket strikes the limo, sending it flying into a nearby pool. Stenz and Walker arrive, prepared to capture Cale and Sawyer, but Cale manages to distract them just long enough to lob a grenade, creating an opening for escape. As they seek cover in a nearby pool house, a mercenary fires a minigun, accidentally hitting a boiler, triggering a massive explosion that the media misinterprets as Sawyer's death. Vice President Hammond, under the impression Sawyer has been killed, is sworn in as the new president. Meanwhile, Finnerty learns that Walker has a terminal brain tumor, explaining his disregard for consequences. To dissuade him, Finnerty brings in Walker's wife Muriel, who tries to convince her husband to abandon his plan. However, Walker remains resolute, insisting he's avenging their son. Muriel reluctantly lets him proceed. Cale takes Sawyer to a safe spot to tend to his wounds. In this brief moment of reprieve, they share stories about their lives and families, with Cale revealing Emily's admiration for the president. Back at the Pentagon, alarms blare as President Hammond orders a Special Forces unit to retake the White House. Cale contacts Finnerty urgently, but Caulfield informs him that she's been removed from duty. Cale, aware of the danger posed by Javelin missiles, tries to warn the approaching Black Hawks. Ignoring his warning, the first helicopter is shot down, followed by the second. Just as a third Black Hawk is targeted, Cale makes it to the White House roof and intervenes, facing off with Stenz. Special Forces soldiers attempt to assist, but Stenz shoots down their helicopter, which crashes dangerously close to the hostages, narrowly missing them. The brutal fight between Cale and Stenz intensifies, with both men crashing through a glass ceiling. Cale gains the upper hand, but another mercenary's intervention forces him to retreat, leaving behind his White House tour pass. Stenz discovers that Emily is Cale's daughter from the pass. Meanwhile, Tyler successfully breaches NORAD's final firewall, gaining control over the weapon systems. He launches a missile with deadly precision, striking Air Force One and killing everyone on board, including President Hammond. Consequently, Raffleson is sworn in as the new president and immediately orders an airstrike on the White House to eliminate the terrorists within 10 minutes. Inside, Walker scribbles down codes while Stenz brings Emily into the Oval Office, now fully aware she's Cale's daughter. Using the intercom, he demands that Cale surrender Sawyer, threatening to harm Emily if he doesn't comply. Upon hearing the threat to Emily, President Sawyer decides to surrender himself to protect her. Meanwhile, Cale urgently contacts Finnerty, who informs him they have just 8 minutes before the airstrike on the White House is scheduled to commence. Time is running out as Walker reveals the nuclear football to Sawyer, explaining his twisted goal to prevent future loss by launching nuclear attacks on several Middle Eastern cities. Despite Walker's pressure, Sawyer refuses to activate the nuclear launch, even with Emily's life at risk. A sacrifice Emily understands. Outside, Cale notices a painting of the White House on fire, sparking an idea. He sets a fire downstairs, triggering the sprinkler system, which buys him just enough time to act. Alarms blare, momentarily halting Walker. Cale seizes the opportunity, taking out 2 armed mercenaries, but soon finds himself cornered by Killick. In a surprising twist, Donnie, the tour guide, intervenes and fatally wounds Killick. Cale instructs Donnie to lead the hostages to safety. Elsewhere, Tyler tries to escape through a tunnel but accidentally kills himself with his own explosives. Meanwhile, tensions rise, as Walker and another mercenary argue over their extreme tactics, leading Walker to kill him. Sawyer attempts to stab Walker with a pen, but it's ineffective, and Walker forces Sawyer to open the nuclear football, initiating the activation of nuclear missiles at multiple launch sites worldwide. Cale is then confronted by Stenz in an intense showdown while Walker shoots Sawyer in the chest, leaving him seemingly mortally wounded. Enraged, Emily attacks Walker but is quickly overpowered. Meanwhile, Kale and Stenz's fight reaches a brutal climax when Kale manages to fasten a grenade belt around Stenz's neck and pull the pins, leaving Stenz to explode. With only 2 minutes remaining until the airstrike, Walker continues to input codes to target various locations, but Kale crashes into the Oval Office with a van in the nick of time. He grabs a minigun, shooting Walker and stopping the launch sequence just as it counts down to 0. He instructs Emily to run while he searches for Sawyer. Emily, clutching the presidential flag, heads to the White House lawn as fighter jets approach. Despite Raffleson's refusal to cancel the airstrike, the pilots, moved by Emily's bravery, abort the mission. Crowds outside cheer for Emily, and the media hails her as a hero. Kale discovers Sawyer alive, saved by the pocket watch his wife had given him. Finnerty then contacts Kale, revealing a new suspicion. The mercenaries may have been hired by someone other than Walker or Stenz. Kale quickly deduces who's behind it and heads outside to reunite with Melanie and Emily. Soon after, Raffleson and Finnerty arrive at the White House, meeting Kale, who falsely claims Sawyer is dead. Raffleson suggests redeploying troops to the Middle East, which would disrupt the peace treaty. Kale, however, exposes Raffleson as the mastermind, proving it by having Finnerty dial the callback number that issued Walker's nuclear codes. Sawyer, alive and well, steps forward ordering Raffleson's arrest for orchestrating a coup d'etat. Finnerty, recognizing her mistake in not appointing Kale initially, apologizes, and Sawyer officially addresses Kale as Special Agent Kale, inviting Emily to join them on board his helicopter. Sawyer prepares for takeoff. As they depart, Finnerty informs Sawyer that leaders from Russia, China, Iran, and France have agreed to the peace treaty. In his signature style, Sawyer instructs the pilot to do the thing, allowing Kale and Emily a memorable view as they fly into a hopeful future. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.